Hi, my name is Sheryl Klus, and today I'm going to talk to you about my communication device that I've selected to demonstrate. The communication device that I will be demonstrating today is a graphic communication system that a student in my classroom uses. This is a system that offers symbolic representations of items that the student utilizes to communicate. For example, her schedule is here. Things that she might need in school, and different electronics and such forth that she uses. This specific system is a communication book. The student would utilize this book by selecting the desired item that they want. The student would then pull out the picture, hand it to the person that she is trying to communicate with, and then that person states the item and that the child wants, and the child then receives the item. So for example, if the student wanted a toothbrush, I need to go and find the page that says toothbrush. Okay, which is in bathroom and hygiene. So the toothbrush is right there. The student would take off the toothbrush off of the Velcro and look to the communicator or the person that they were talking to, hand it to them. I would take it as the teacher and I would say, toothbrush, and hand her the toothbrush. I would also then return this back to the location it was at, so she can ask for it again once she's done. This book is organized in a combination style. There is some taxonomic organization systems and some schematic organizations. For example, the taxonomics go in categories such as electronics, animals, we have zoo animals, and I think we have farm animals. And then in regards to schematic organization, we talk about according to activity. So bathroom and hygiene. So things that you need to do in the bathroom. Gym and sports, things you need to do in gym. This system is different than PECS, the picture exchange communication system, because it is not taught in phases and it's not taught in a systematic way like PECS is. This leads to one of the major drawbacks of this device. Utilizing a graphic system without a systematic approach may create some barriers for the student. For example, persistence is taught explicitly in PECS Phase 2. If a student does not learn the skill to persist and find the icon to utilize it, it is essentially useless. The purpose of a communication book is to be the student's voice. If they do not persist to find it when they need to speak, it may result in problem behaviors and frustration level. For example, this page, the ball icon is missing. If the child in this case went to ask for the ball and it was not there, she would need to persist to find her icon. If she did not do this, she would be stuck at her book, yelling, screaming, or potentially engaging in other problem behaviors because she's frustrated because she cannot say what she needs to say. Another negative to a device like a graphic communication system is the vocabulary of the child is limited to what the adult puts in the book. If the child wishes to speak and the picture is not there, the child may engage in problem behavior because she cannot communicate her needs. In regards to programming for a child with graphic systems, they can limit them as well. For example, when utilizing the BD map, a child with communication picture book cannot tact. The verbal operant of a tact requires that the child produces a verbal behavior either through vocalization or sign to label items that she sees. So if I say, what's this? I want her to say bubbles or sign bubbles. A child with a picture book such as this would not be tacting in this case. It would be considered that they're showing a skill that is called match to sample. The child would be matching the picture in the book to another picture or an item. So in this case of saying toothbrush, when I say what is it, she's not going to say toothbrush. She's going to look through her book and find the picture of the toothbrush. So she's matching a picture to a real life item and not actually talking about it or labeling it. In regards to programming for the communication book as well, it also allows for teachers to easily teach the verbal operant of mand. A mand requires that the student has motivation for an item they request. So a lot of the picture books I make for my students, one of their pages is their favorite things. So these pages are often used in mand sessions where if the student wants bubbles, we have bubbles ready, they request bubbles, we say bubbles, and we blow the bubbles for them, or they do that themselves. So this allows for a very smooth mand session. Picture books allow for easy exchanges to mand for items, and it's clear what the child wants as opposed to assign approximations. That leads to the point that pictures are universal. This allows the child with autism to engage with more people, including their neurotypical peers. A peer can walk up to the student with autism and say hello or ask a question. The student with autism would then be able to respond to his or her peer. If that student utilized sign language as her communication system, she would be limited to talk to only those that know sign. A positive of this device is it's easily transported. Each of the devices my students have that have a communication book such as this is equipped with a strap. The student can carry her book on her shoulder with the strap. She can easily take this device anywhere. Many students can benefit from a graphic communication system. This system was selected for students who had very limited fine motor capabilities. So producing an accurate sign or even an accurate sign approximation was incredibly difficult and frustrating for her. The signs that she was able to produce were even unclear to familiar staff members. So when it came time to choose a mode of communication, we went to a picture device because of her high level of match to sampling skills and listener responding skills. This system was also selected for the student because she was a candidate for a speech generating device. So this communication book was put into place to help her prepare her for a device such as a Dynavox. The book can be set up and created to look like the interface that is on a program like a Dynavox, so that when she gets the speech generating device, she's familiar with the interface and she's familiar with where the pictures are based on the pages in this book. Overall, graphic communication systems are highly beneficial for students with autism. Those students that are verbal and nonverbal have the capabilities of accessing this type of device. Students who have a difficulty with sign language are great candidates for this device, as it makes their communication more clear and hopefully it will diminish any problem behaviors. Students that are also preparing for speech generating devices, this would be a great first step for them. So that is the end of my presentation. I would like to share the references, which I utilized our textbook. So there is the reference to our textbook, Treatment of Autism Spectrum Disorders and Evidence-Based Intervention Strategies for Communications and Social Interactions. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed listening about graphic communication systems.